I always feel there's hope. I'm an optimist to my toes. I just feel you have to have hope, because if you don't have hope, you might as well give up now. It's not about us, you see. It's about nature, it's about the world. I was taken to the Kruger Park one day where I saw my first wild lions. I've never forgotten it. A lion and lioness sitting under a tree. So maybe that's where it all began, I don't know. I was 10, I think, at the time. Because you never forget, you see, you never forget that image. And when you think that there were 100,000 lions 50 years ago in Africa, now there are 20,000 about. I mean, it's deeply shocking. And at that rate, click your fingers and they'll be gone. My name is Virginia McKenna, and I'm a founder trustee of the Born Free Foundation, which we started 32 years ago. My husband and my eldest son, Will, the three of us started it together. Meru is where Elsa the lioness was returned to the wild by the Adamsons, where she mated with a wild lion, produced her cubs, and where she's buried. That was where the real story happened. And we started our tiny little group, which we called Zoo Check. We were just a handful of people. We were all volunteers. We had a tiny office in Battersea with a typewriter and one filing cabinet and a phone. We moved eventually to live in the house I'm sitting in for our first office. So tiny, tiny beginnings. And my son, Will, leads our whole presence in Kenya. We're doing a lion count, first of all, and a big desnaring operation. And I went on one of the desnaring things with the team and KWS, who are very, very strong up there as well. I find that so exciting, that whole project, because it's like coming back to our roots, coming back to Meru and making Meru live again in a different way. So we're actually trying to save the population of lions. And that's where KWS will come in.
My name is Victor Karethi Mutuma. I am a programs officer with the Born Free Foundation. And I currently head the programs at Meru Conservation Area. As the team leader here, I'm charged with responsibility of overseeing several components of conservation work. And the team is composed of the Born Free Foundation Rangers and the Kenya Wildlife Service Rangers, who are armed. One of the greatest challenges which we face here at Meru is the constant threat of the poaching. And the poaching here involves people who would potentially use guns, but our main focus remains those that use the snares. On a daily basis, we spend about 3 to 5 hours walking, and the actual work involves looking for the wire snares which are put up by the poachers along the animal tracks or close to the watering points for the animals. And the moment we get to see them, we destroy them, because we believe without securing the herbivores, then the lions will not have enough to feed, and the conflicts between the community and the lions will be on the rise. There has been cases of conflicts between lions and human beings, especially when cows and goats are killed by lions. And there have been cases of attempted retaliation. So it is a problem, and we always encourage the communities to try and restrict the areas where they graze and secure their livestock at night. Because some of the conflicts have happened when community members encroach in parts of the park.
If the governments take away nature, and it's true they have challenges because there are increasing numbers of people. The population is getting huger and huger every month, which means the lions, the predators, are being pushed out of their natural hunting area. And when they can't find prey, they're probably killing a cow. And then they're punished, they're killed. And so it is a massive challenge.
And the question is there room for wildlife? And if there is, how do we support and sustain that wildlife? The current generation in power is certainly enlightened, and the next generation will be even more enlightened.
We're actually supporting a local school because the education of the children, their understanding of how precious these animals are to their future, is one of the most important aspects of our work.
At Born Free Foundation, we believe that without involving the community, then wildlife has no chance. And therefore, we spend quite some time visiting school children, showing them films about conservation. We'll get many people very interested in conservation work, and people who actually appreciate that for wildlife to survive, they have to play their role.
I absolutely am sure that some of the young people that I've met in Kenya who are already dedicated to continuing the work, and the young men who are working on our projects who have young children themselves, they will be role models for their children. They are the hope of the future. I mean, we're outsiders coming in to try and make it easier for them, but they themselves feel passionate. I always think of it as like we pass the baton to each other. It's like the relay race. And that's how things work well. You pass the message, you pass the philosophy, and if the person believes in it, they'll run with it too. I think the forthcoming ivory burn in Nairobi is absolutely fabulous. We have a very strong relationship with the Kenya Wildlife Service, and my son Will is going to be there, witnessing it, and this is the largest burn of ivory ever, anywhere. You have to show that it's worthless. When people buy ivory, that's death. That's a little symbol of death on your mantelpiece. If it has a value, you'll never save the elephants.
The message is out there, and many more people will take issues conservation seriously. They'll give the elephants and indeed other animals a chance to live, because they, just like human beings, they also deserve their space. They need their freedom.
Kenya's stand on ivory, from the president down through the Kenya Wildlife Service and many, many citizens, of the commercial trade in those products extends fundamentally to most wildlife species. Kenya turned its back on trophy hunting in the 1970s. We need to invest for our own peace of mind and for posterity in wildlife as a natural treasure as well as a national treasure.
We cannot afford to lose hope, and every day I wake up, I get more and more strength in seeing our team members working so hard. The challenges are there, but the future is bright. The future is bright, yes.